Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? So, let's talk about some anime, shall we? The ones within, holy crap. I did not expect this show to hit me in the feels. This kinda sucked. So pretty much this week's game was a half dating simulator and half like nursing simulator. So or nutrient or like literally the raising of a child practically or like an animal. Um, we truly have something to see with this show. I feel like it has one of the more um, weirdest like overall stuff happening, through and through. So for that to be just not even bad, like a bad thing, it's that it's so weird and just out here, that it just makes me feel like there's a lot that they're going to kind of convey through the characters in the case of like, for instance, this at the end of this week's episode, we find out that one of the girls literally have known, one of the guys that are here for quite some time, seemingly, and she has kind of a stalker, thing for him. And the thing that first came up to my mind, excuse me, I hate. Have you guys like ever not talked for a really long time? Just like do something without talking for a really long time, like when you first wake up, and then just try to have a full blown conversation. For some reason, it always makes me yawn. Um, so for instance, when we finally see kind of like what this girl has kind of like hiding behind, her closet. And this is the girl that I've been skeptical about the whole time since she's been introduced, so it's not really that surprising to me, as much as it's more like, holy crap, she might actually be a problem. Like, I was just guessing, and it seems like my guess is coming true. My full-on guess came from the fact that there was the opening song, and everybody who was on there that we've seen in this game, they all had their face show up, but then someone else's face was coexisting with theirs. But then when we get to our main character, the guy with a little bit of whiteness hair, and then this girl who likes the guy with the whiteness hair, they both get their full-on faces like put together in the montage. So that was just my guesstimate of like she needs to be watched already. Not to mention the way that she like acts and she's so nonchalant and she was even getting spied on in the bathhouse, but she is in a position for me to believe that she just wants the best outcome for this. Like it's almost as if she wants all these views as much as, the people here. In the case of she's talking to a girl that probably would not have been ever comfortable with knowing that she's being, viewed by multiple upon thousands of people while our other girl, our scientist, our speed runner, is straight up, glossing in the glory of being watched and getting the view counters to go up by even, acting as if she has some type of crush on her and stuff like that, just to make it more convincing that, oh, people should watch this. This is where the hot stuff happens. So that's what gave me the feeling that she already kind of wants to see what happens. Like she probably wants to actually end this all, get to wherever the goal is, and see what actually will happen. Not to mention the person who is like the Japanese game expert and then the stealth game expert. Once they weren't like picked to do this game, they both wound up like going in the same direction as the guy who has like left them in here, the Paka guy looking thing. So whatever they found out, they definitely didn't share this week if they did find anything out by following him and seeing like where he went. But the reason why this episode hit me in my feels was because of the daughter scene, man. Like that was so messed up. How are you gonna have kids raise a girl, like raise a child, and then after the child is raised, it has to, like for 3 days, mind you, it then has to die. Like she has to literally stop existing uh, once the game is won. So it's this notion of, are they just trying to push these people to the brink, or is it really because of these games and the way that they're handling the games and tribulations and stuff that's really bringing in the viewers, or is it more of the case that at any given time, if they fail, something like very bad is going to happen? So um, I'm not sure where they're going with this, but to be fair, this game isn't as dangerous as I thought it was gonna be. Uh, with one person getting eliminated and nothing really happening to him, it kind of just goes to show you that they're not going to straight up outright kill some of these people. I think these games that they play are capable of doing that, and if it does happen, it happens, but I just have a good feeling that we might not be seeing any of those games for a while. And even if we do, I mean, let's be honest, the show, uh, like the viewer counts for them would probably benefit if someone like bid it during a game. So it's a pretty dark concept already that this show is going with. Like they literally have a daughter who all of their like thought processes kind of went into making her. So someone thought of a school uniform. The mom wanted her just to be like healthy, perfect, and kind, sweet, and stuff. And then, of course, our main character just wanted to see the panda again. So he got that. He got a panda-looking girl, and the guy who's super quiet wanted to put the egg in like a microwave or something, only for the simple fact that he wanted to see an afro. So yeah, it's really weird. It's almost like they're not taking any of this seriously. So when you see stuff like that, you're kind of just like, are they crazy? Like stuff's popping off, man. Like people are getting attacked out here, and you guys are just like, whatevs, whatevs. So it's really interesting, in my opinion, where the show can go as a whole. I'm just confused at like what could possibly happen to them if they fail, or um, if, for instance, we haven't seen the view counter go down. So like, what happens if the view counter starts going down? Is that like in the rule book that something happens to someone that might have made it go down, or if someone fails the game, the person who fails the game's got to, you know what I mean? Like, they haven't really shown anything that kind of puts this show on a level of terror. Like, oh my God, if you do this, you're probably gonna die because of this. Like nothing like that has seemingly popped up in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they pull out in this show, in the grand scheme of like the end all be all. Because as of right now, I'm interested enough to watch it all through. But there's some shows that just like can't even do that for me. So to see that this show's doing it and it has me like completely confused on what could happen, I'm pretty excited to see the end game of it all. So I hope you guys are too. Let me know in the comments down below if you're watching this, or if you already dropped it and you didn't really care for it. uh, yeah, regardless, I still want to hear your opinion. Then I could see if there's something that you disliked about it that I kind of didn't like as well. The thing about like the one person I really hated this episode was the teacher, the guy who pretty much was getting everything from the girls that he didn't even deserve because he didn't appreciate it. So it was pretty funny to see him absolutely get like freaking humbled by this panda girl, and all she was doing was staying by his side so she could tell him how much of a shining, like he's the most shiningest person she's like ever seen, right? And that's just something she wants to convey to him once he wakes up, which he's already woken up and he's just terrified of, getting up and getting beat up or something for. I mean, he got hit in the back of the head with a bottle because he was doing stuff, or he was about to beat up the daughter and stuff for noticing him or something like that. So he got what he deserved, and then not only that, the panda girl is such a sweetheart that she still didn't want to, leave him behind when he was supposedly unconscious, and she even went as far to, you know, like comfort him by saying he is what he wants to be. Like, I'm so sparkling and dazzling. These girls can't give me anything sparkling and dazzling to please me. So he finally gets his praise and seems like he enjoys it until, the whole entire place just straight up disappears. And while it's disappearing, our panda daughter actually notices it and tells her father to come here and give me one last hug before I go. So it's one of these moments where you kind of figure out the show is a little bit more than they're letting off, right? They're showing us that regardless of what they do or how they do things, it's all a game at the end. And regardless of all the stuff you did for this game, it has to end sometime, right? And that end time was as soon as she found out that she was living a happy and blessed life, and because of that, she got to go on, and the game ended. So I'm not sure if that's gonna be the grand scheme of the show all the time, just like these very hardcore trivial things that if you get it wrong, you're kind of just stuck until you get it right. Because she definitely was not happy with her life with her afro and like pulling out parts of her afro and leaving it on the ground. Like if she was pulling out her afro like that, that must not have been her afro because it hurts to get your afro pulled. Trust. So she definitely was. That was like a wig, 100%. She was pulling out her hair like that. But guys, excuse me. That is it for this one. I honestly think that this show is doing quite well for itself in the grand scheme of like animation. The characters are funny. Um, those two things plus the fact that this was a very powerful like moment and story for all of them, and seemingly only like a couple of them really got anything out of it. So we'll see how this all plays out. Our main character is going through the ringer right now. Not only did he have to send a spirit of a girl, like packing, and he told her pretty much that he can't go with her, so she's in the afterlife literally waiting for him. He now has gotten rid of his own panda daughter, and he had to literally watch it happen. And it was painful because he's sitting there gripping onto her as hard as he possibly can to make sure she doesn't go. And even that wasn't enough to keep her uh, in this, safe and sound. So it's pretty messed up, but at the same time, like I said, it's a game to, most of these people, not to mention probably the guy who's watching, trying to get all these views. He's probably laughing and cheering in his bedroom as this stuff is happening. So that's just the type of people that we're dealing with, and it's probably only going to get a little bit worse from here on out. They're probably only going to get more and more in depth in these ways of making the audience feel like crap and the characters. So, with all that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I'm your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you soon. Peace.